Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the First Principles podcast of 2025. So these are backed by popular demand. I'm not sure who's demanded it, but I'm sure some people are secretly demanding it and wanting their return. But we did this quite a lot last year, and it proved to be a really effective way of communicating things in a very concise and clear way to help students and parents and the wider school community understand what we do, why we do it, how we do it. So this is the 13th Principles podcast that I've done. We begin in 20th of January 2025, and this podcast will all be about homework. However, before we start focusing on homework, a reminder about our care values. They are very dear to us. They feed into everything we do. So we are courageous, we are ambitious, we are respectful, and we achieve excellence. And those are the values we talk about all the time with our young people. So as I've said, this podcast is about homework. The most important thing I do is explain why we do homework and then how we do it afterwards and what it looks like and when it needs to be done. So why? I know homework can be quite divisive. Some people agree with it, some people don't. But the evidence, the data says, and I will only do things that are evidence informed and research led. Homework and homework done well can add an average of 5 months additional progress for each student every single year. So if I've got something as simple as homework that if we do and we insist on and we make sure it's done with fidelity and a high degree of accuracy, then ultimately our students are going to make greater progress. And my job as principal is to put everything in place for our young people to be as successful as possible. Students want to be as successful as possible, and I know you as parents want them to be successful as well. So when I go and see the highest performing schools in the country, what they all have in common, and it's not the principal reason, the sole reason, but they all have this in common, without exception, it's their students all do homework and they all do a lot of independent work at home, because we know the more you put in, the more you get out. Right now, our young people don't do enough outside of school, and therefore they are handicapping themselves against those students that do perform very well. And if it's good enough for those students, it's damn well good enough for ours, because our students deserve the same entitlement, they deserve the same opportunity, and they want to be just as successful. So if I did not insist on homework being done, it would be to the detriment of our young people, and I can't abide that. I can't allow that. So homework, I respect those that don't agree with it, but with respect, I think it's really important, and that's what's going to help our students be more successful. So homework will be linked to classwork because research says that's more effective. So it'll only be on what they've already done, not what they're going to do. So it's more practice, it's rehearsal, it's repetition. We'll focus on the feedback aspect at the start of at least one lesson every single week. The purpose of the homework is that retrieval, that rehearsal, and it's a consolidation. The more we go over stuff, the more likely we are to remember it. And students involved in digital technology have a greater impact, and all our homework is done online, on a phone, on a tablet, on a laptop, on a computer. So this typically looks at what homework could look like. So for years 7 to 9, they'll have maths, reader, which is English, and Spark Science, with 20 minutes per read subject, which is English, which is geography and history rather. Year 10, it's the same set out, but you've got GCSE options, and it's longer in terms of duration. And then year 11, it's exactly the same, but slightly less time because they stay at the end of every day, 4 days a week for their period 6 intervention. I'm not a believer, so homework is important, and it's so important. However, I don't want children slaving away all night, every night, doing homework. I want them to have a life. I want them to enjoy themselves. I want them to switch off. So I'm only asking for a small bit every single day, and I think that's reasonable. I think that's sensible. So Key Stage 3, approximately 3 hours across the whole week. That's less than half an hour a day on average. If they do an hour on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. Year 10 a little bit more, as is right, because they're starting their GCSEs, but year 11 comes down because they already do lots of intervention after school and stay at school for longer. All homework will be set on class charts. So even though it's completed on different platforms, on Sparks, on Carousel, the links, the instructions will all be set on class charts. And the reason we do that is because then parents and students get email reminders and you know what's being set, where it's being set, and what the deadlines are. All homework will be marked as complete or incomplete. If it's incomplete, it will come with a behaviour point, and if it's complete, it will come with a reward point. Whilst the first couple of weeks we are doing a dry run, after the first couple of weeks, and we're giving students an opportunity to get right back into the swing of things, after that, we are going to start issuing detentions for incomplete homework. I don't want any student to get a detention. I don't want to talk about detentions. And I know from the assemblies that we've given today, students understand the importance of homework, and they know it's important if they're going to be the best version of themselves and if they are going to achieve their potential. All homework will be set on a Monday morning and it will all be due in for the Sunday night. So it's entirely up to students. Students have the responsibility, the trust, the autonomy to map out their own week. We will provide an example timetable, such as this: Monday maths, Tuesday English, Wednesday science, so on. But if that doesn't work for the student, they can change it at the end of the day. As long as it's all done by Sunday night, everything's fine. If they've got PE, or if they've got dance or football or chess club or Cubs or whatever it may be on a Thursday, and what they could do is do the science on an English day instead, and they could do 2 homeworks on one day. We leave those decisions down to parents and students to work out. And we will obviously celebrate and reward great pieces of homework and high levels of completion, because we like to reward people doing the right thing all of the time, because it's intrinsically the best thing to do in order for them to be the best version of themselves. And to close, the advantages of homework, there to see, but it accelerates learning, encourages independence, lots of practice, utilizes extra resources through the software programs that we use. It can involve the family, and that's really powerful because it can stimulate really meaningful and purposeful and rich conversations at home. Teaches time management, and it boosts confidence because students that do more homework remember more, and they therefore achieve higher results in a test, in assessment, and they will get much better GCSEs and set the foundation for their future success. And ultimately, it's not just why we're here, but those academic outcomes determine what students do next, and we need to make sure they're as high as possible. As principal, I'm obligated to ensure that I provide every opportunity for our young people to be successful, but I know you as parents share that thought and share that desire. So I thank you in advance for helping us support this and track it and make sure your young person is doing their homework. And I can't wait to see the progress our young people make moving forwards. Pleasure as always. Can't wait to talk to you again soon. Thank you.